Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex and today I'm going to talk to you guys about how I'm healing my nervous system. After pretty much dealing with stress and being in fight or flight mode for my almost entire life, this has been something that's been super important for me on my healing journey. As many of you guys know, I was diagnosed with POI a few years ago, and when I was diagnosed I was having some irregular cycles. My diagnosis also came right around after when I was having a 2 or 3 month bout of consistent recurring panic attacks. Something that I never really thought about on a deep level is about how your body memorizes and gets addicted to these stress chemicals. And things about our upbringing, things that happen to us in childhood can put us into this sort of chronic fight or flight mode, how we're always sort of tense and waiting for the other shoe to drop, or we are just like always ready to run. I think that my hormonal issues have so much to do with nervous system regulation, or rather nervous system dysregulation, and how my body and I have personally been stuck in fight or flight for most of my life. Recently, through measuring my own hormones, I saw how a day after I had like an intensely stressful event, my progesterone just plummeted. And this is something that I've been having struggles with, is maintaining progesterone in my luteal phase. So today I just wanted to talk about a few nervous system hacks that I have developed along the way. I am not a mental health professional. I am not an expert of any kind. This is just stuff that I have learned along the way and I want to share with you guys, and how I am using these different hacks to help myself. So as I've mentioned already in this video, I have chronically been in fight or flight for most of my life. This has translated to people mostly telling me, you just need to relax, you need to relax, you need to relax, you need to relax, you need to relax. And for most of my 20s, I was a control freak. I constantly felt out of control and I wanted so desperately to control things. Going through POI, going through infertility has taught me that I have no control, and I have been very happy to sort of let go of that control. And that has been a huge step for me, actually. Why does this matter? Basically, if I want my body to heal, if I want to have success in life, if I want to create the life of my dreams, I need to learn how to regulate my nervous system, because being stuck in fight or flight will keep you sick, it will keep you small, and it will keep your life just derailed. And so part of me working on my nervous system is to fix all of these things. For me, hormone balance is huge, and it's something that I'm working on, and our hormones do not exist in a vacuum. Our hormones are greatly tied to our nervous system. Cortisol can steal directly from progesterone, and that is an issue that I have. Even though I'm ovulating, I still have low progesterone. So when your body is stuck in fight or flight, it literally thinks it's unsafe to heal, to rest and digest, or to reproduce. And no supplement, no diet, no perfect following of any rules can fix that if you are not working on your nervous system. So let's go ahead and just jump into all of my hacks / practices that I'm using to heal my nervous system. So the first one is sleep and light hygiene. So this one I'm not always perfect on. I'm really good with the evening one, but not always great with the morning one. So getting sunlight first thing in the morning is a really great way to wake your body up, and to also keep your phone away for like the first 30 minutes at least after you wake up. You want to let yourself be with yourself, and you want to let your body's cortisol rise naturally, not from looking at the news or opening social media, or letting the outside world sort of dictate your cortisol levels. You want to be with yourself, let yourself kind of slowly raise your cortisol levels. So at night, I will use red light in the bedroom, and I use a red light filter on my phone. I have talked about this quite a lot in my past videos. If you guys haven't seen anything about this, I'll link a pertinent video up here so you can see how to use the red light filter on your phone. And then I use red light bulbs. I will link them in the description below. And actually, this is a reel / TikTok that I made showing you guys how to turn on the red light filter on your phone. If you are interested to see that, go ahead and follow me over on Instagram and TikTok. And then I also use blue light blockers on my glasses at night. If you don't use glasses, then you can just buy blue light blocking glasses. You don't have to buy the clips, but I'll link both options in the description below as well. These just help with your melatonin production, your natural rhythm. It helps so much to lower cortisol levels in the evening. I have been staying at a friend's house for the past few days because we're cat sitting at the moment for my friends, and I haven't had access to my red lights and the kind of lighting that I use in my home in the evenings, and I have noticed a big difference in how it takes me longer to relax and to go to sleep at night, and I wake up feeling less rested because of it. So definitely those things make a massive difference for me. They're the easiest, simplest hacks, and it's not very expensive. I also like to use a Himalayan salt lamp in my bathroom as the only lighting in the evening, and I swear guys, this helps so much to just like to get your hormones into the right space and in turn to help regulate your nervous system. The next hack slash method that I use to regulate my nervous system is to walk barefoot in nature and to use a grounding sheet in my bed at night. We go to the beach a lot and I am always barefoot at the beach. It just kind of goes hand in hand with being at the beach, and I know that not everybody has that, but if you're able to like walk barefoot in your grass outside, that is another great way to ground. Just any way you can get your bare feet on the earth, that is a really great way to ground. And then I also have a grounding sheet on my bed, which really helps with nervous system regulation, and I can link one in the description below for you guys. There are actual studies that show that grounding helps to induce a state of coherence in the body's rhythms and helps to calm and regulate the nervous system. The next method that I use to help regulate my nervous system is breath work, mainly the 4-7-8 breathing. So I'm not doing like long breath work sessions in place of meditation. I prefer to do meditation, and I'll get to that later. But 4-7-8 breathing is like magic. It works so well to immediately dissolve any tension that you have. So what you do is you inhale for a count of 4 and you hold the breath for a count of 7, and then you exhale for a count of 8. So this just instantly puts you into a more relaxed state. It dissolves the tension. It communicates to your vagus nerve that you're safe, and it also helps if you kind of constrict as you're exhaling, and you can kind of hum too, and that like stimulates the vagus nerve and puts you into a parasympathetic state instead of the sympathetic state. So the sympathetic state is fight or flight, and the parasympathetic state is the rest, digest, reproduce, and there are 2 parts to it. So there's also like the dorsal vagal, I believe, and that's like where you go into shutdown. But for the sake of simplicity, you have the sympathetic state, fight or flight, and you have the parasympathetic state, which is rest, digest, reproduce. We're not meant to stay in fight or flight for extended periods of time. We are supposed to spend most of our time in parasympathetic, but the problem with today's society and the way we have everything structured, we have chronic stress, and a lot of us spend most of our time in fight or flight, which leads to chronic health issues and all sorts of things. So this kind of breathing is a quick way to move from sympathetic to parasympathetic state. The next hack slash method that I use to calm my nervous system is something that my therapist taught me. It is to filter my thoughts. So say there is a thought that my brain has grabbed onto and I am obsessing about that thought. Maybe it's like catastrophizing about a potential outcome of a future event. So say I have to confront a loved one about something and I'm automatically assuming that they're going to hate me for it and it's going to go badly. Now, what I would do is I would take that thought and I would ask myself 3 questions. 1, is this true? In my case, no, it's not, because it hasn't happened yet. Most of your anxieties about things will not pass that first question. Is this true? Is this true right now? And is this helpful? Those are the 3 questions that you ask yourself to get your mind to let go of this thought that you may be obsessing or that's causing you stress and causing you to be in fight or flight. So once you filter out those thoughts, your nervous system can settle back into your parasympathetic rest and digest state. So this stops you from spiraling. It's so simple, but it's so effective, and it has worked really well for me. So the next one I have already mentioned, but it's humming. Humming stimulates the vagus nerve. So if you are really stressed, you can try humming. It helps to ground you and it helps to move you from a state of sympathetic to parasympathetic. The next method slash hack is a category of things, and those are relaxation tools. So for me, that's ASMR. ASMR has been huge for me. I mentioned it on my channel before. I will link a couple of my favorite ASMR channels in the description. ASMR stands for Autonomic System Meridian Response. It's basically tingles in the scalp and head down through the shoulders, accompanied by a deep relaxation. Everybody has different triggers for ASMR. So it can be whispering, it can be like page flipping, it can be anything. If you've ever felt this before, you'll probably know, and that can be a pretty good indication of whether or not you can experience ASMR. I'm not sure that everyone can, but I know that there's a large group of people that can experience ASMR, and usually if you can, then you will have experienced it at some point in your life without knowing what it was. For me, it was usually soft-spoken, like reading. It always just induced like this very deep relaxation state and would give me tingles like in my head and my shoulders. So there are lots of ASMR artists on on YouTube, and you can find one that really works for you. And that's a great way to calm yourself down if you've had a really stressful day, and to just put yourself into the parasympathetic state. Then another tool is acupuncture. I know not everybody has access to this, but a lot of times acupuncture is covered through health insurance. If you do have health insurance, as long as you have some kind of musculoskeletal pain, you can go and do acupuncture, and it is really helpful. I found it to be very, very helpful for musculoskeletal pain as well, but it really puts you into deep relaxation state, especially this point right here. This is the point where I have gotten into like a theta state the most when they use a needle right there, just so you know. And then castor oil packs are another thing, or like doing red light over my abdomen. So I like to use castor oil packs in my follicular phase to help with follicle recruitment, and I also like to use a red light device to help increase blood flow to my abdomen during my follicular phase as well. And this is just like so relaxing, so it's just kind of a side benefit that it really helps with nervous system regulation. Okay, moving on to the next method slash hack, that's food and blood sugar balance. These are super important. It's not something that we think about a lot, but if we have blood sugar imbalance, that can actually increase cortisol spikes. So you want to make sure you're eating protein and fat and fiber at every meal in a good ratio. Just make sure that you're not eating super carb heavy meals every single time. You want there to be sufficient protein to make sure you're not having really big glucose spikes. Okay, moving on to the next hack, and that is releasing control. This is something that I struggled with for pretty much all of my life, I think, until I was confronted with a situation that I could not control no matter what. And that has taught me to just let go. And I honestly think that that is such an underrated tool for regulating your nervous system, is just to let go and let things be, and to be okay with not being in control, and knowing that there's really so very little that we have control over in life. And having a spiritual practice and, you know, trusting the universe, trusting God, whatever it is that you can sort of theorize in your mind or with your faith in order to know that you are going to be taken care of. Having some sort of faith, some sort of belief system that helps to provide you comfort, and know that even though you can't control things, everything is going to be okay. The last section is just some extras. So these can be like splashing some cold water in your face, or dunking your hands in cold water. That can like shock you out of fight or flight. Moving your body, letting your body complete the motion, that can also help. Just like shaking or dancing around, or if you feel like this really, really intense stress, letting your body get it out can be really, really helpful. Also, like gentle stretching or yoga, some kind of exercise, that can be really helpful as well. Going for a walk, putting on a motivational book, or also listening to affirmations. So that's it for the hacks. Now I want to do some honorable mentions. So I have been listening to the Sarah Baldwin podcast, and that has been super helpful to learn some different tools and just to understand the nervous system and how to regulate it and why you are the way you are, kind of a thing. It was like so mind-blowing for me to listen to her work and to realize why I am this way. It's really amazing. She's very insightful. Also therapy, obviously. Therapy has been huge for me. I just do talk therapy at the moment. I want to in the future try EMDR for processing traumatic past experiences, but therapy has been huge because it gives you tools to stop yourself when you're in a spiral, and having those tools is incredible. And having someone who is objective, who can look at your past experiences and explain things to you, and for you to be able to understand them, it just makes it easier for you to heal. And then Joe Dispenza is my last honorable mention. I've been reading his book Becoming Supernatural lately. I've actually read like his book The Placebo Effect, also Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and now I'm reading his latest book, which is Becoming Supernatural, and it is changing my whole life. He talks about the body as the unconscious mind. In order to create the life of your dreams, you have to be able to access your subconscious, and our body is our subconscious. Our body holds on to trauma. Our body holds on to things. That's why science even recognizes now that there are certain illnesses that can be brought on by past traumas because they're stored in our unconscious, in our body. So the body as the unconscious mind, if we have been living in a state of fight or flight and extreme stress for our entire lives, our body has memorized those chemicals, has memorized that state, and every single day when we wake up, our minds recreate those stress chemicals because our body is addicted to that. That's saying better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Our body likes the familiar, our unconscious mind likes the familiar, and so if we want to change the way we feel, if we want to change our lives, then we need to change the way we feel, and we need to change the way we think about our lives as well. So this is where I will mention my meditation practice. I have been doing Joe Dispenza's meditations, and so far things have been really amazing. Right when I started, I got all these like little manifestations and I was just blown away. I mean, it was like magic. So now I've been doing it. I haven't been super consistent lately, but I am determined to keep doing this and to transform my life this way. But his meditations are truly incredible, and they have allowed me to kind of get myself out of a rut and to feeling into my future self and to the dream life that I imagine for myself. So his core method is meditation. It's getting you to get into a theta state by focusing on different parts of the body and then space surrounding that body. So you're first focusing on physical matter, and then you're focusing on the wave, on the energy, on the potential. And this sort of shift in focus helps to quickly get you into a theta state and access your unconscious mind and your body and your unconscious mind, your subconscious. And then you imagine and you visualize and you put yourself into what you visualize for your future. You imagine yourself there, you feel all the senses, and then you combine that with elevated emotions about how that future feels. Does it feel easy? Does it feel free? Does it feel happy? All the things that you want for your future, all those feelings, you feel those in your meditation while you are there experiencing a typical day in your life. And then you surrender that to the universe and you give thanks for it. And that's essentially the meditation that I am doing. And that has been really amazing for shifting my perspective and to shift me out of fight or flight, because it's like a quick bypass without having to do years and years of intense therapy work, which I will do anyways. But I want to get past this now. And so this is what I'm doing, and so far it's working really well. And I really can't wait to see what I manifest with this method. And I will obviously keep you guys posted about my journey with this as well. I obviously am not perfect and I have my moments, but now I have tools. I mean, even though I have all these tools, I will still go through moments of stress, but I will be able to bring myself out of it. For example, when I was doing fertility treatments, I felt myself really close to panic attacks again, and it scared me so badly, but I had the tools to bring myself out of it. And that is everything. That is everything. So even though I felt close to it, I wasn't. I didn't actually arrive there. What I had before were like 3 months, 2 or 3 months of panic attacks consistently every single day. And I got really close to one and it scared me, but I was able to pull myself out. So these tools really work, and this work really, really works. So to conclude, you don't have to do all of this at once, but these are pretty simple hacks, most of them, and they're pretty easy to incorporate while you really work on the deeper work with therapy and a meditation practice. If you're here because you have hormonal issues like I do, your body isn't broken. I always think that there's hope for healing personally. Like Dispenza says, your personality creates your personal reality, and by changing our daily state, we can change everything. If you have any hacks that you use to calm your nervous system, make sure you drop them in the comments below. And if you guys aren't subscribed, please go ahead and hit subscribe. I share my healing journey in vlogs, and I do lots of structured videos like this as well. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and I would love it if you would leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.